So I was going to kick off 2023 by redesigning this planner and chatting with you guys about some future plans, and I already recorded it once. However, I started using DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos, and it has been a task and a half to try and figure out how that program works. So I set that project down for a little while just to let my brain decompress, but in that time, some of the things that I plan to talk about have already happened. So I'm just gonna restructure this a little bit so that I can keep you guys in the loop and still have a chance to talk about my plans, the rest of the plans that haven't happened yet. So first, let's just talk about how I like to plan. For one, I love to just talk about my plans, but I also like to physically visualize them, and I'm kind of picky about how I do it. A lot of the times plans don't even end up getting made because I feel like I need a consolidated place to put them, and that I need sticky notes and color-coded pens and all that stuff. But the reality is, literally all I need is a pen to write them down with. I need the planner and then I need the pen, and that's all. So I've had this planner since 2021, which I could have used all this time, except I haven't because, well, look at it. I mean, I'm sure it appeals to somebody, but it's not quite my vibe. I don't like the colors. It's just a little bit too generic for me. Why would I want to use something every single day that I don't even like the look of? It just doesn't make sense. So what we're going to do today is redesign this cover, turn it into something that I can use to flesh out my ideas for this channel. That being said, in keeping with the theme of the channel, I'm thinking of going for something along the lines of like 1930s cartoonist illustration. So it's gonna be like a black, gray, white color palette. I'm thinking of drawing like a lot of inkwells, fountain pens, and little rubber hose characters. I don't know, something cute. So I shall proceed with those ideas in mind, and while I do so, I'll go ahead and give you a good old voiceover and talk to you about a bit of what's been going on and the plans I plan on filling that planner with. So, elephant in the room. My uploads have been pretty inconsistent. There's no surprise there, really. My goal behind the scenes, though, has always been to upload at least once a month. I literally haven't been able to. I don't really even like talking about upload schedules in general because it just makes me think of those channels circa 2016 that always seem to be promising a consistent upload schedule and then failing miserably at sticking to it. So I'm just still gonna take things at my own pace. I know you guys really anticipate a lot of the art tutorials, and of course I'm going to do my best to get them out. But quality and, honestly, inspiration are some of the most important aspects of what goes into my videos, and I really think you guys could tell if I only put half the effort into them. It is just a hobby for the moment, and I do have a problem with taking my hobbies too seriously and subsequently sapping all the fun out of it sometimes, but that's something that I absolutely don't want to do with this channel. This channel is my baby, and I want it to make me happy, and I want video making for this channel to make me happy. So I guess quality, inspiration, and fun are what I find most important to put into my videos. Like, if I myself don't have fun making them, then there's really no point in uploading, and I don't think it would be fun for you all either to be expecting a video on a certain day of the week and then not getting it. But one concrete thing that's definitely been eating into my free time has been my real person job. You may have seen the updates in my community tab and on Instagram, but my car ran into some problems and I needed money to fix it. So I went and I got a job. If you own a car, you already know it's gonna be a perpetual money pit, and I'm not happy about it. Do I enjoy having a customer service job? No. And I have thought of quitting and doing freelance art full time, but the car is still my biggest concern, so I don't think that's going to be happening quite yet. Car-based infrastructure, you have thoroughly ruined my life, and I hate that my every decision has to revolve around you. Now, on to more positive things. Let's talk about the videos themselves. The rubber hose tutorials are definitely going to continue. You guys have given me so many good ideas, and I literally have them all written down in a list. I have mapped out a couple of them, like storyboarded, I guess. I don't know if that's the right term, but I've sequenced out how some of them are going to go. I just haven't had the time to make them yet. But I'm really so thankful that all of you are so patient and that you're willing to give me ideas, because it helps me out a lot. I can't say enough how thankful I am. Now, in addition to the tutorials, I also want to work on animations of my own. I have little plots. I don't know what else to call them. I mean, they're not long enough to be full videos, but just tiny little stories that I want to create about my little inkblot characters. I came up with the inkwell dollies a pretty long time ago, and every time I look at them, I think there's something fun I could do there, and it would definitely be fun to animate. In a future video, hopefully I can give you some more lore about those girls. I think they're really cute. Now, one of my plans was to do a little series of YouTube shorts where I recreate some of the drawings from my tutorials, but on pencil and paper. And this is one of those things that I already started. I uploaded the first one last month when this video was supposed to go out. Obviously I didn't finish in time, so I just jumped in and started this short series. And I really enjoyed making that. It wasn't that hard. I wanted it to be more interesting to look at, so I made all the props as actual physical items. I made them with real paper and ink, since the whole theme is that you're using physical mediums to draw, so that's the idea there. They're just little bite-sized speed draws that help you see how you can draw, no matter what resources or materials you have. And digital art looks pretty different from traditional art anyway, so I understand why people want paper tutorials too. And I think the shorts format should work pretty well to just change it up, so that way they're not just complete remakes of my available tutorials. On a similar note, I was thinking of doing videos about animation and animation history. I don't know how many of you know this, but I am self-taught. Everything that I know about animation and the rubber hose art style, I just kind of figured out. And almost for my own sake, I want to start making little essay videos exploring the history of animation and the drama that went on in the early days and even the whole process behind early animation. Because it really does interest me, and I love doing research, I love putting together essays, and I want to understand it well enough to be able to talk about it at length with all of you. So that's everything I want to do in terms of tutorials and drawing and animation. I do realize that there is a somewhat neglected aspect of my channel, and that is the whole 1920s thing. And the thing is, I've been wanting to talk about the 20s and the trends and 1920s hair and headpieces and fashion, but to be totally honest with you, I feel this sense of apprehension in talking about them because I don't really live the aesthetic. I mean, I don't finger wave my hair every day. I don't think the 20s female attire suits me. And I do my makeup in extravagant ways that aren't historically accurate. But saying that out loud, I know it's totally ridiculous because anyone can appreciate any part of history regardless of how they look and how they choose to dress. So I don't know where this apprehension comes from, but I want to get rid of it and talk about one of my favorite time periods in history, regardless of how I look when I do it. Silent films are one of the things of the era that I want to delve into. They've literally been a main aesthetic inspiration for pretty much all of my title cards and videos. I actually went on this silent film crusade back in 2020 when I had nothing to do in quarantine, and now I want to go back and rewatch them and do these casual little reviews and just chit-chat about what I think of them. It would be super informal, I don't even know what a professional film critique is supposed to sound like. I just want to talk about the films, what I like about them, don't like about them, and just have fun talking about it. I don't know if that's something I could rope anyone else into, if any other YouTubers would like to watch silent films together and give their thoughts and opinions as well, but I'm down to collaborate with more artists and smaller vintage YouTubers here. I'm immensely thankful for everyone that I've met through this platform. Just thinking about it, it just, my heart. There's Kate, aka the long-haired flapper. She let me use her kid curler video as a guide for one of my videos way back in the beginning. I also did a video with Miranda Milner over on her channel. I helped her design her own cartoon character, which turned out so cute and adorable. And I've gotten to connect with artists in the vintage sphere over on Instagram as well, and that has been so helpful. I mean, I don't know, it's just so nice to know that people are out there who understand what you like and appreciate what you're all doing. And when I started this channel in 2020, I had actively looked for smaller vintage YouTubers to fill my subscriptions with, so if you know of any other underrated or obscure peeps on the vintage side of YouTube, please comment and shout them out, or shout yourself out if you are one of them. Now, moving on from video topics, as I mentioned before, I had been considering stepping into freelancing in the vintage art community here in our year of 2023, and I have. If people want a commission, I'm having them hit me up over on Instagram. I know I have a disclaimer there that says I'm slow to respond to DMs, but I have been monitoring them more closely now since starting this up. It's just a bit easier to communicate over there since I feel like most people have found me because of my YouTube or Instagram anyway, so it just makes sense to keep it in one spot. But yeah, I'm not trying to turn this into an ad for myself or anything, but if you want more info, you can DM me over on Instagram, we can talk about it, or you can view my commissions post there. That has all the guidelines and info you need. And that's that for the self-plug. Now on to even bigger projects. This is much bigger than just 2023, but another thought that's been on my mind is books. I would love to write and somehow publish books. It's very out of left field, I know. Don't ask how I'm gonna do it yet because I don't know, I'm just floating the idea. I haven't really shared much of my writing yet, but I did start a historical piece back in 2020. It was a sort of dark academia-inspired story that takes place in the 1920s, and it involves a group of 3 boys who get wrapped up in the shady dealings their university has with the town's speakeasy scene. Is it a little cliche now that I've looked over it again to make that summary? Probably, but my statement still stands. I love writing, and if I could pull off something historical that people would enjoy reading, even better. The other book idea I have in relation to this channel is more of a solid informative book about the history of rubber hose art, or an all-encompassing book about just how to draw in the style. I'm certain some exist already, and I know that my own style has to improve much more before I can begin thinking of illustrating something like that, but I really want to do it. And so that's something I plan to flesh out a little bit more here in our little planner. And just to ramble for a bit at the end here, I have no idea how rubber hose became such a huge passion for me. I don't know what it is about this art style that drew me in, but here I am. If I want to get deep about it, I guess it's just because the art of 2D animation as a whole is kind of dying. I mean, who do you know that still does paper animation? Who do you know that can even ink and paint a cell? Not to say that traditional animators are extinct, I realize it kind of sounds like that, but I am actually lucky enough to know people who worked for animation studios up until their 2D departments closed. So it's not like I'm talking about some ancient art form that nobody knows how to do anymore. I understand. I understand that it's still relevant and people still do it. The animators that I know still do their animations on paper and they just supplement them with the technology we have now. And I find that really admirable. And not to be a total Gen Z, but that's why Cuphead is so endearing and so important to me, because the guys who worked on it and are working on it for all the DLCs and whatever, they're literally keeping part of history alive by choosing to animate with that method. It sounds so silly and overdramatic, but we're literally keeping history alive by choosing to draw in that style and choosing to animate by hand rather than doing everything digitally in a program and rigging it up and all whatever that I don't really understand. In the future, I'm sure new methods of animation will develop and the people then will be keeping history alive by choosing to digitally render their animations instead of whatever the new method may be. That's what's exciting to me, actually putting into practice the idea of staying connected to the past and inspiring the future. I think that's something really important in this current era where progress seems to be made just for the sake of being progress. Yes, sometimes newer and easier and faster is better, but forgetting the difficulty of the past altogether is not an option either. And I don't want to come off like I think CGI is bad or that digitally animated productions suck. I mean, what I do is literally digital animation, so it'd be pretty hypocritical. I can literally cut out so much of the labor that it would take to actually animate something traditionally, and I am beyond content to be living in this era and not in the past. I'm just glad that I have the option to be able to look back in retrospect and do my best to appreciate the building blocks that brought us to where we are now. Because of that, I really hope that someday I can do even the tiniest bit of traditional cell animation. Yes, I understand how goofy that is. I am well aware that it's like asking to be a phone operator, but actually working a switchboard in the 21st century. There's just no need for it anymore. But I want to do it anyway, just so that I can experience that moment in history and the trials of artists like me back when this art form was still growing and getting its feet. I know that I don't have the capacity as a human being with limitations to be able to learn and appreciate every single aspect of history, but I think that we each just have to choose and learn all that we can and appreciate all that we can. And this is just what I've chosen to go with. This is just my little part of history that I'm choosing to keep alive. So on that borderline pretentiously deep note, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me talk about all the plans that I plan on filling this newly redesigned planner with. I hope you like the design I came up with. I'll have close-up shots of it and whatever on my Instagram, so go check it out there. I will see you later as all these plans start coming to life. Bye-bye!